agriculture. One of them is fit testing. This is actually my colleague and I in Australia doing fit testing for our high school students. So the types of fit testing are qualitative. That means it's the hood that looks like this. And so just tell me how many of you have been fit tested?
I got 3 in the room here that have been fit tested.
Been fit tested. Is anybody qualified to do fit testing?
None of us are qualified to do fit
Qualified. Okay. So just make sure that just to start off to say you don't have to be certified. To do fit testing, qualified means you're a reasonably knowledgeable adult who can learn. You can be trained. So you just get trained and then you follow directions. So you have to be trained, you have to be teachable. Yeah. So
But several of us have agreed that we're out.
no, I don't believe that. I could treat all of you. So, okay, you can use saccharin or Victrex or irritant smoke. Generally, we're all using saccharin. Fit test kits are hard to get, just like respirators. I'm working with the University of Iowa College of Public Health, ICAS, to do fit testing for 21 people October 1st. And
So we worked with Brandy to get that set up. So several of the people that you will be training, I believe, are going to be county extension employees.
Oh, nice.
I don't know who. I sent it to a lot of people, and I don't know who volunteered, but we'll figure out after their.
Okay, so then you will know that they're trainable and teachable because it's actually going to be on Zoom. It's not even going to be live.
Yep.
Yeah, we did it for, I can't remember how many people in the end of August. It worked good, worked good. So quantitative is the more expensive. You have a piece of equipment that fits on your computer and you put a probe on the inside and on the outside. It's the most accurate, it's the easiest to use, but not many people have these. So we're doing a lot of the qualitative. They cost, those fit test kits cost between $250 and $500. And so Brandy was able to get you those, right?
Yep. Brandy, iCache is providing them for free.
Yep.
For everyone who's participating. And so that was a really serendipitous thing that it sort of overlapped with a huge need for public health, you know, to know how to make these respirators fit their faces and things as well. So that worked out well.
Yep. So I'll be I'm the trainer. We'll be going through this booklet. And that booklet is actually it's like a community-based. We're saying we need community-based fit testing. So you were right when you said you don't have to do the medical piece of it. You guys are learning to do the fit testing. And that's a piece that's missing all over the state, all over the nation, actually. So fit testing is different than a user seal check. A user seal check is something we all do every time we put one on, where you check to see if it fits so you can tighten up your straps. Or in the case of a 2-strap, that tells me that maybe it's getting worn out, that my straps, I can't get it snug enough on my face. So user seal check, completely different than fit testing, but also equally important. So the whole respirator size, this is why fit testing is important, because it is the size of my face from here to here. Not much about from here to here as it is from here to here. So your faces can be deceiving. We think, well, I'm a big, tall guy, I'm a big guy, I'll wear a large. That may not be true. You may have a short geared face, as I would call it, from here to here. So it's more about that. You can see in these pictures here, I have my Missouri students, I was unable to go there, so I had to send them respirators, so I made them measure their faces. And it was some pretty fun stuff. So we had males and females, and you can see their face shapes, sizes and shapes are different. Small, Megan, you're definitely a small. I could tell you if you took your mask off, but just by looking at how that fits. Virgil, we're gonna get you a large. Yeah, the other sad thing about not coming in the COVID-19 is, you know, hopefully in the future when we do these, we could bring one for all of you and you can all have one. So here's the piece of it that's very clear and important, because I'm very excited that we'll be doing fit test training for extension, because the fit tester has no role in the medical evaluation except to require that it be performed, the employer has to have a medical determination to show the person's capable of wearing a respirator. So having someone that will do fit testing and understand the medical piece of it is very, very helpful. So this is the OSHA. There's a questionnaire that people still have to fill out. You can be part of that. You can say, here, fill out this questionnaire. A licensed healthcare provider will review it and see if you need to have a medical evaluation. But you as the fit tester, you're doing the fit test and you're signing off on that. So it's good to know that you guys are going to do that. So the whole piece about determining the type of respirator, I think that can be daunting, and people get a little nerved out. They're like, okay, if I'm going to do a respirator fit test, is someone going to ask me what kind of respirator I should wear? You'll be asked that question, and then as extension people, I would venture to guess you've been asked those questions before. Would that be true? Particularly related to pesticides?
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, we definitely start that conversation in our pesticide trainings. I don't get a lot of questions outside of the pesticide trainings about this, except this year with regard to not being able to get
them.
Respirators, yes.
Right. So this worksheet that I sent to you, that's also meant to be printed out. People can write all over it. It gives all the basics right there. You know, if you're doing this, this, and this, you should wear this one. So pesticides is actually at the end of the day the easiest because it's right on the label. As long as you can find the respirator, get the right size, and then get that right cartridge. So if you know the activity, understand the exposure, determine what kind of respirator should be used. So I'm going to roll through some common things in agriculture and just show you which respirators should be used, and you begin to see a common theme. If you've got about 2 things, you can take care of everything in agriculture except the things that are oxygen limiting situations, or if you need an SCBA, you know, in those hog confinement buildings. So hogs or poultry, our exposure or hazard is organic dust. That means dust with stuff on it. Very fine dust, 10 microns or smaller, that can be respirable. I can't see it. I can't even see it in the dust in the sunlight. That's the thing we're worried about, organic dust with feces, urine, endotoxins, bacteria. On that dust, you breathe it in. It's also got ammonia, sulfur. Organic dust, ammonia, disinfectants, carbon monoxide, hydrogen sulfide. Here's all of the things. These 3 on the right. So if you've got this and you've got a reusable respirator with a cartridge or a P100, you're good to go in your hog building, except if you need an SCBA. If you're in livestock, we're worried about feeding grain, hay, and bedding, mold again. Look at pretty much the same respirators. So you're going to use a 2-strap N95. And if you can't get that, then we're going to push you to these. And even if you can get them, a lot of people should be wearing these with that P100 filter on it. Hay, same thing. You see, we see a common theme here. We're worried about mold and organic dust. So we're going to have these types of respirators. When we get to pesticides, we're definitely looking at the label. We're going to use a pesticide cartridge or a multi-gas, full face, or that PAPR. So what are you telling, you know, we have that whole new regulation, the WPS, where it's actually a couple of years ago where everybody was supposed to have fit testing if they were using a pesticide that has said needs a respirator. So what are you talking about in your pesticide applicator programs as far as that?
So,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, we've told people what the requirements are, and you know, this year we were able to have the resource list of where you could go to get fit tested, but that's where this conversation started, because it's like there's nobody within 80 miles of me that advertises that they would do fit testing. So it's one thing to require it, and it's another thing to require it and make it incredibly inconvenient for somebody to
Right.
get it done when they don't, they're going to toss it. We may be lucky if they toss a respirator on to begin with, let alone if
Right.
they're going to get fit tested before they do it.
Yes, and I've been part of conversations in all of the circles, EPA and I know Betsy is, I mean, you guys have done a tremendous amount of work too, and even trying to make the standard. And then it still ends up being, even if immediate family members must comply with all of the following, which includes a respirator training, medical evaluation, fit testing, and record keeping, when respirators are required on the pesticide label. So you are exactly right when you say nobody, so what good does it do to have that as a requirement when you can't get fit tested? And so here, I just put in the presentation a couple of examples. Here's a label that says right here, this person would have to have a respirator fit test. And I think the other thing that got complicated was even immediate fit, like if my husband and I farm together, it's just us and my son-in-law, we would all have to be fit tested. So obviously I could do it, but in most cases people can't. Here's another one right here, NIOSH approved, these people have to have a respirator. Same here, respirator and a fit test. So it's all, I think that particularly if it's your certification courses, if they're going to have to come to those, all those labels are probably requiring a respirator, right?
I don't know about all of them, but certainly some of them.
Okay,
Yeah.
Also keep in mind, if it says filtering phase piece, they mean this. If that's all it says, you still have to fit test this one. And I think that gets confusing because some people think you just have to fit test the ones that look like this with the cartridge. And that's not true. And if you have somebody that's gonna wear either or, if they can choose between a filtering face piece and the cartridge, you have to fit test both of those. So I do that for a big farmer here in the area that he gives, people can choose one or the other. And I fit test them for whatever respirator they might choose. So I'm gonna skip past the welding and gas or diesel indoors. Hobbies, people are wearing the same respirators for their hobbies and their construction work as you do on farming. We also just want to remind people to keep and store respirators and PPE in a good spot. We have a gear ag bag right here. It's a cooler. People can put their adult beverages or not adult beverages in there and still have room for some PPE. Resources on our website. And then I'm done with this piece of it. I want to talk about lack of respirators and here we go. There's the resource page. And fit testing for just a little bit. So are you saying, Megan, that there's a lack of respirators everywhere for all of your extension people?
I would say generally it's very difficult for anybody to get a hold of respirators. I will say that I can find, like, Fleet Farm does not have anything on their website, but they have things, if you look on their website, that says they have it in store, right? But there's one Fleet Farm in Ankeny. So, all these people in rural outlying areas. Oh yeah, there's one Waukee too. Okay. There's several in large cities, but when you get out into rural parts of Iowa, same kind of thing that Virgil said, right? Not only, you can't show up and you can't try things on and see if they fit, but in some cases you wouldn't even be able to find anything.
Over here we have Quad City Safety, but it's pretty hard to get somebody from down around Keosauqua. Or of course Keosauqua does a fit testing too, but kind of the idea, travel an hour and a half in order to get a fit test done, or to even try stuff on, that becomes almost prohibitive.
Well, and it is frustrating too, because people are busy. and they're annoyed and frustrated because they can't find it. And then if you say, well, yeah, you could come an hour and a half, and somebody in the comment, Betsy, look, do you see that comment? She said, a great retirement plan, drive around the state offering fit tests. I'll go with you. Yeah, it is a great plan. Yeah, and I charge $35 to do a fit test per person, and I charge $50 if I am going to do the medical evaluation piece of it, because I can do the questionnaire and I can pass them off to a physician if they need that. I can't do the medical. It's different to do a questionnaire, but then there's the evaluation piece of it. So I think a really good option is what I talked about before, is find out what's available locally, get some. Or even on Amazon, if you can go and you can say, I know that we can buy this, this, and this on Amazon, get one of each thing, have it in the office so people can come in and try them on. You're going to have to be responsible for cleaning them. And then have over here the piece of paper that says this is where you're going to order it, or this is where you can get it locally. And then if you start to have more extension places, people can get fit tested. And it sounds like we're going to have 20 some more people next week.
Yeah, I mean, I think that seems reasonable enough. I just, in the COVID world that we're living in right now, I don't know that is something that any of our county extension offices could do or even would even want to do.
I totally, I think we're in this no man's land right now. I am. I used to do more fit testing. It's a little nerve-wracking for me. In the training next week, we'll talk about how to fit test somebody safely. Where they come in, like you have your cloth face covering, right? Okay, so if I was going to fit test you, you keep that on the entire time until I put that hood on your head. And then you take that off underneath the hood, and then I do the rest of it there. And then you go way over there to take that hood off, and you put your cloth face covering on. So there are ways to fit test and feel safe about that. But as far as people coming in your office and touching things and trying things on, yes, you are correct. In the meantime, perhaps just a listing of what's available in the community, in the different stores. Other questions that people might have for me? I know we're right at the 2:28 mark here.
If anybody has any questions, you could probably just unmute yourselves there out in Zoom land.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we have any questions here in the room. I don't know. I thought this was really useful. I'm getting nods from others in the room that this was a really good conversation. And we appreciate you joining us today, Carolyn. That was just really fantastic. You have an incredible expertise.
Also, if you have people that in your communities that are really struggling to find respirators, if you could contact me. You as individuals, like they would come to you and then just say, hey, I know someone that I can get in touch with, that maybe we can get you something.
Oh yeah, we got somebody who was tweeting at us that I'll get, or Angie or I can get contact. Oh, Angie mailed him masks. Okay.
Because I'm a full service extension employee.
She's a full service what?
She says she's a full service extension employee, mailing masks out to farmers.
Okay, yeah, because I could ship some to them, ship them to you maybe, or something like that. But I think the push right now is for people to go. If I went to Amazon right now, I'm pretty sure I could order the reusable respirator, and then the P100, those pink filters. Yeah, and those are actually the best. That's what people should be wearing anyway.
Yeah.
Most of the time. I'm just going to click on it here. So I can also put together, work with you to put together a document on what you could recommend or anything like that that can be helpful.
Yeah, anything on recommendations that would be, because the N95 is obviously the first thing that I think most people, it comes, that's at the top of people's mind when they think about putting on a mask, especially when it comes to dealing with grain and dust. And even if we could put together, I don't know, I'm looking around, a resource or an ICM kind of blog, right? We've got our crops page that we post blogs and news articles to, but something on getting you know, safety equipment, getting PPE respirators for dealing with grain handling and harvest this fall, you know, which ones are going to be most likely to be available.
Yeah,
I
they're
think that would
right
be
here.
awesome.
Right, here's the one I showed you right here. Oh, it's coming apart here. It's right here. It's my 7,000, the 7,000 series is $29. You have the ones that are $13 here. You get what you pay for. Particularly in Iowa where it's cold. This one here, it gets really it just gets too hard on your face. It just doesn't seal very good. These are their silicone. They're called the 7,000 series. $29. Here you can buy your cartridges. It looks like the P. This one is all put together. You need to know your size, but then you need those P100 filters. And I've been pointing quite a few people in this direction. They've been able to get them, and that would carry you through the whole fall for sure. You just have this one reusable respirator, and then you're going to buy the P100 filters. They're right here. And that takes care of your black mold. That takes care of bean dust, corn dust, and a lot of your pesticides too. And you can see they're
that's
available.
awesome.
Yeah. This is the place to go right now because you're not going to buy N95s. I have some in.
Oh, it looks like you froze there, Carolyn. Hopefully you came back right away last time that happened, but.
N95. I don't have, usually you freeze in some horrendous look on your face. Am I back?
There, you're back. Yep.
Usually you're like that. Okay, well, I hopefully that was helpful. And let's plan to set up another time to talk so I can maybe be more helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'll send you an email, you and Christine and Betsy, and see about maybe if we can get something put together here shortly that could be kind of a resource that we could push out to the farmers that we're connected with, just regarding, you know, resources, what's available yet this fall that they might be able to use.
Yeah, I'll put aside whatever I'm working on to help you get that out the door.
All right.
Yeah. Hi, Christina. I don't see you forget people are on the if you don't see their faces there. So.
Hi, thanks so much for doing this. We really appreciate it.
Yep, happy to do it, and I'll be at Iowa State the 13th or 14th.